Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello everybody and welcome along to SRF Weekend Warriors, brought to you by Apex Racing TV and sponsored by RaceVoice. This is round number 8 and we head to the Phoenix Raceway, the road circuit, first used in 1991. My name is Jess Ball and joining me in the commentary box we've got Larry McLeod and we've got Jonathan on the cameras. And I think it should be a great race. We've seen some close standings in the last few weeks, and it's very great to have you in the box, Harry.
I am so excited to be here, Jessica. So thanks for this opportunity here this weekend. And yes, this is going to be some close racing, as it always is in the Weekend Warrior Series. This track is going to provide all the closeness because this is one of the most difficult tracks to get used to and one of the most difficult to pass. So I think we're going to see a lot of really tight battles for the entire race.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got 3 different specs, as you guys know. We've got the Spec 1 class, which are numbers 0 to 199. We saw Aero Nom won the race last week once again. He was absolutely dominating that race. And there were some close battles, actually, from some of the Spec 1 classes, from Michael Doback, actually, Pete Morbotton as well. Some of them will be here tonight. And you may notice a bit of a difference in the overlay tonight as well. We've got different colours for each of the spec classes. For spec 1, you will see it in red. Spec 2, you'll see it in green. And the Masters, you will see in a lovely purple. And any other colour, they just don't recognise it on the spreadsheet. And we just have to make do with the numbers. Spec 2 is I rating below 3K, car numbers 200 to 899. And Masters is for the oldies, drivers age 60 plus, and car numbers over 900. So We already done the qualifying session, so the drivers are in the practice session now. So what can you expect from the drivers here today in this 40-minute race?
Well, I think what you're going to find here is that turn one is going to be treacherous. You know, it's an entire bending left-hander all the way in, kind of a decreasing radius in, and then it just bottlenecks down. But turn one's when everybody wants to make their big pass. So I think we're going to see a little bit of maybe some fiberglass banging going on there going into turn one. And I think from there, it's going to be a lot of prevent the mistakes, because this place, there's some crazy bumps in this place from places you wouldn't expect, like into turn one. You hit that thing wrong, you're going around. And if you happen to be following that car, you're probably going to get caught up in that mess. So it's going to be a lot of protect and don't get yourself mixed up. I think the first lap's going to be just madness. And from there, it's going to be looking for just a lot of typical side-by-side, close racing. But all it takes is that one mistake to throw it away. And the driver who's going to win in any of our three classes is going to be the one that can do it the cleanest.
Yeah, definitely. I like these type of tracks, where it's oval, stroke, road as well, because it definitely provides a challenge for the drivers for the different grades as well. And obviously Daytona is the most famous one, but not many people know about Phoenix, so it should be very, very exciting. So before we actually get started with the racing, we will go through our standings, starting with Spec 1, and it is Aeronom that is leading the way with 659 points, 150 points clear of David Baum in second place. They weren't challenging as much last week to Aeronom, so he's got a comfortable gap up in front. Ferenz Arabian in third position. Ian Haycox was in fourth. Miro Haraski in fifth position. Bobby West was in sixth place. Jeff Richter was in seventh. And Pete Montbotton, after his fantastic result last week, he's gained one place. He was ninth in the standings last week. He's moved up to eighth. Same with Michael DeBet, but he is now in the top 10. He's gained 3 spots. So hopefully he's in for a good showing today if he's in this week. And in 10th position, we've got Maurizio Nazelli. Now moving on to Spec 2, that is numbers 200 to 899. J.W. Miller and Simon Mayer did not have the best results last week, but it was J.W. Miller that finished ahead of Simon Mayer. Simon Mayer had a pit stop issue, which means the gap between them is 5 points. J.W. Miller leads with 348. Ian Malone in third on 28 points. Ian Gibson in fourth on with a 35-point gap. We got fifth places Christopher Smith and Darren Kahn in sixth position. Adam Bradshaw seventh. Roland Warbank in eighth. Paul Jackson in ninth. And Castro, who actually won our Spec 2 race last week, he's gained 5 positions because of it. He is in 10th position. Now moving on to the Masters, it was Chris Murakami that won yet another race win in a row. That promotes him to second position, but that's Tom Gradwell that leads the way, 294 points over Chris Murakami. Third place is Kenneth Batley. Fourth place is Bob Kern. Fifth place is Antonio Reyes. Sixth place is good old Steve Ray, who actually runs the league. Massive shout out to what you do, Steve. Seventh is Mark Guillen. Eighth is Bill Crass. Ninth is Robert Isle. And 10th is Jeff Cantor. So there's all your standings for all 3 classes. We are about to get underway with the qualifying session, and it should be really, really interesting. 1 more minute to go and we're about to get underway. Who would you expect to do well at this type of track?
I think obviously Noms, he's kind of the easy pick because, well, he's right there in the mix every single week. You look at for the others, David Bohm's always quick. You look at Jeff Fritcher, he's a guy who can sometimes have some pretty fantastic weeks, so kind of keep an eye on him. And then you look down in the Masters, and I love looking at some of these guys because, like, Antonio Race would be fighting for race wins in the Spec 1, let alone in the Masters, so I always love seeing him. But you look at a few others there. Murakami's always one to watch for. So if they're in the race, they've got a shot. But I think like you mentioned about Dobak having a great race last week, he skipped a couple of rounds here. So now he's kind of behind the ball trying to make up some points. And Naselli's another one. Maurizio Naselli, fast everywhere. He can make up some great points this week and have a shot to maybe get close to Nom in the overall. But, there's a lot of really great names in this field that I've raced alongside with for quite a while. And it's really, at this point, it's going to be who can be the cleanest driver and who can, keep their nose clean, keep their car clean, keep the incident count down, and come away with a podium.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget the drivers do have to make a mandatory stop. It's their choice on when they make that stop as well. But they don't want to make any additional stops for damage because they're going to be in the pits for a very long time. So your qualifying results. It was very, very close this week. Aero Nom is on pole position, but only by just under 1/10 of a second to Jeff Richter. So it was an amazing qualifying session from both of them. Then we got Maurizio Naselli in third, and we got Ferenc Arabian in fourth. Pete Mobotten in fifth. David Bohm in sixth position. We got Michael Joubert in seventh. Ian Haycock in eighth position. And we got our Spec 2 pole position leader, Ian Malone, in ninth overall. And 10th is Bobby West. In second for Spec 2, it is Simon May, who's in 12th for the moment, and Yuan Ling. The number 30 is in 11th position. 13th is Myra Haraski. Number 14 is Flavio. Number 15 is Ken Batley, who is in the Masters pole position. 16th is Sergio Dorelli. 17th is Tom Gradwell. 18th is Drew Simpkins. 19th is Brian D. Short. And 20th is Edgar Sancelli. 21st is Paul Jackson. 22nd is Christmas Smith. 23rd is Stevie Ray. 24th is Dan Fortin. 25th is Darren Kern. 26th is Jeff Jacobson. 27th is Rolly Wallbank. 28th is Bob Kern. 29th is Adam Bradshaw. 30th is Jonathan Mino. And in last place is Andres Bertoni. So we have 31 drivers here today.
Yeah, I love watching Bertoni because he always likes coming from the back of the pack. So we'll see how well he can make it through this field. It's going to be a tough place to do it here. But watch out for that front row with Nam and with Fritcher. It's going to be an exciting turn one to see who can come out ahead.
Yeah, the lights will be coming on very, very soon. They're on their formation lap right now. But it does give you a chance for us to talk about our race sponsor, which is RaceVoice. We're proud to be an exclusive sponsor of the Weekend Warriors Spec Racer 4 Racing Series. Take your driving to the next level with on-track audio performance alerts with RaceVoice and RaceVoiceSIM. Hear miles per hour, turn entry and exit speeds, upshift alerts, and other performance metrics which are selected and configured by you. Go faster with the speed of voice. Plus, Weekend Warriors get 50% off annual SIM pricing using the promo code of WW50, and you can check them out at www.racevoice.com. And also don't forget to check out our social medias. Subscribe to us on YouTube for tons more sim racing action, and hit that bell icon to be notified when we go live. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. All those usernames are just Apex Racing TV. Twitch.tv/Apex Racing TV is also where you can find our Twitch as well, which is a lower latency. It's up to you what you choose to watch us on. As the pace car's gone in and we're about to get underway, and it looks like it's a decent start from Aero Nom. We'll have a look to see how our other classes are doing right now as they head towards turn one. Like we said, turn one is a very tricky corner, so do watch out for that as well. Very, very tense. We're in Naselli stayed in second position. Top 8 are covered by Spec 1 drivers, but it is Ian Malone that is still leading the way in Spec 2 right now. Simon Mayer's gained a few positions as well. It's great to see, and looks like they got away pretty cleanly. I'm quite surprised to see that at the moment, but at least they're taking it cautious at the moment. And there may be a bit of issues at the back, it looks like, as Riley Wallbank has dropped it to 31st position. But so far, everyone else has made it through cleanly.
Yeah, they definitely did. I'm surprised, not a whole lot of mayhem there. Maybe they're going to wait for lap 2. But Naselli able to get by Fritcher into turn 1, so he's now the one chasing down Aero Nom out front and try to use a little bit of this draft around the oval. Again, it's a roval, so you've got some oval sections you've got to deal with, but then the rest of the track, and it's not the biggest oval, but the rest of the track is a super tight infield, and it's bumpy. It is almost like a gravel pit down there at times, and it's going to be interesting to watch these guys, see if anybody can make any passing in the infield, or if they're going to hold those passes off for the front straight going into that turn 1 right around that pit exit. And wait till we get to later in the race when the pit stops all start, and you'll have cars coming out of the pits and cars coming across that front straight, and they're going to be coming together in there. It's going to be really interesting to see. But right now, front, Aero Nom just doing what Aero Nom does, setting the pace for everyone else to chase.
We've seen a few people go off, including Sergio Dorelli as well, down in 20th position from Spec 1. So that is a bit of a shame there. But it looks like Jeff Richter is doing very well in Spec 1 right now, chasing down Naselli coming up at the moment. And I think we're going to get a replay of Dorelli's spin then. So heading past the oval section into the first part of the road, he gets onto the grass, and I think he lost control of the car there. It didn't look like he'd go to a spin or anything. Maybe he just lost concentration. I don't know. So he's dropped down the field a little bit. So let's hopefully he can fight back. And it's a top 2 that are on a league of their own right now. So we've got a top 2 train. And then we've got a train from P3 all the way down to, I would say, P7 with Michael DeBeck as well. And then we've got the likes of Simon Mayer, who's leading the other train along with West. And you can see David Bone going side by side with the 42 of Michael DeBeck as well. And he's just about to hold on as well. He's currently sitting in P2 in the championship. He wants to close up to Eric Nottom. He really needs to get a much better result than this. Ideally, he wants to be on the podium, and it's already so many cars in the battle for second place. He can go either way right now, as we're starting to see things taking hold at the moment. Bailey doing a very good job leading the Masters class at this moment in time in the 922, and with Gradwell up in second position. And you know, it's great to see that we've got an even split of Spec 1 cars at the moment, and you can see on the overlay as well where they are overall in their class as well. It just makes it easier for the commentators as well, but ignore the grey ones, because those are the ones that have been put in late. So just look at the numbers, and we're starting to see faster laps come through. Amero not himself faster lap, but Maurizio Naselli responded to that very, very quickly. So let's see if he can challenge him for that. We're seeing a nice battle up in the midfield. This is very, very intense, I have to say, between these guys. It's a very short lap compared to last week, so not much time to really get your bearings around the shading track. It's not like Daytona, which is a very long lap and plenty of chances to get your bearings and get some overtakes done. You really got to get your bearings nice and quickly here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of places to kind of take that breather. Maybe around the oval, but even there, you're usually side by side with somebody down that oval that as you come back onto that front straight. It's not a very easy place at all. It is, as you mentioned, a very short lap around here. Not the biggest of tracks. It's certainly not a Road America style of track or Spa or anything like that. This is just a small little roval, small front straight usage, and we're down to the infield. Doesn't leave a lot of places to pass or to breathe. So very interesting to see how long these battles, as you see the first and second, and then the third and fourth, are all just sort of bunched up. The only battle we see going on there seems to be Dobek and Bohm. Bohm, a traditional aggressor in this series, always one of the most aggressive drivers. He's right now trying to take up positions with Dobek, and Dobek kind of holding him off as they go right now through that turn 1 sequence.
And Mabutton actually had an issue down in, I think, last place now. He's dropped it down to 31st. He's lost 26 positions, and that was a replay that we saw from him. And what a shame for him, because he was battling for the race win last week as well with Aeronom as well. So Aeronom must be breathing a sigh of relief right now up front, as he's setting the pace quite literally right now. 104.8 was his best lap and his last lap too, and he's about 2.4 seconds clear of Ferenc Arabian. But he's got Jeff Richter and Maurizio Naselli battling out for the last podium spots, which do mean anything in Spec 1, because points do count. So let's see what Naselli can do. He's right on the back of Jeff at the moment, but unfortunately you can't quite get the move done yet as we head towards this next section of track. I think there's quite a few runoff areas as well around this track, and due to the fact that the lines are not as clear, this is the 2008 version of the track, it's quite hard to tell which is actually the tracker sometimes. I sometimes make the same mistake in Daytona, for example, when we race around here in the road version. But, you know, it's what the drivers could do with it, and they are one of the best drivers for the reason in these spec cars. We're on lap 6 already, and it's nice to see Simon Mayer in his element for Spec 2. He had some problems last week, but this is definitely what he needs due to the fact that his championship rivals is nowhere at the moment. Let's hope we don't jinx him here tonight, Larry.
Oh, come on, the commentator's jinx is just a figment of people's imagination. They gotta blame somebody, but you know, sometimes it's true. But Mayer definitely is right in the middle of his battle. We were talking a second ago there about the Dobek and Bohm battle, and you can see he's just trailing right in there now, trying to find his way through these two. The Bohm and Dobek tend to be on the side-by-side down every time they go down that main oval straightaway. Simon Mayer now saying, well, it's a great hole in the wind you're punching for me, guys, but I would like to make a pass. And I can imagine it's a tough place to pass. And, of course, Mayer now is getting hounded behind him as well. So he's got in his trails there. That might be Wan Shilin. It's behind him. I'm not sure. Yep. So yeah, it's very, very tight battles right here through this field. We got about 6 cars now that are all in about a half a second apart, and it starts up in that front there with that. I think it's Bobby West kind of leading this train with Dobek Bohm following him down, and then of course you've got Simon Mayer, your Spec 2 leader, right now just trying to find his way through, or not to make that proverbial mistake here and throw this all away, because he's got a pretty big gap all the way down to the second place in Spec 2, Paul Jackson, who's down about 18th overall in this field. So right now the gap from Mayer to Jackson is substantial. So Mayer just wants to kind of keep with this pack if he can, but every time he sees those two go side by side, he wants to just make that move as they go slow and give him a nice big hole in the wind. And not easy around this place. It's just a really, really tough place to make any kind of passing.
Definitely, and to be honest, it's about who blinks first and getting the move, because as soon as one person makes a move, the other person blinks and try and go through it as well and capitalise it on the mistake. Remember Brands Hatch a few weeks ago where we saw a massive train? We're going to see something similar here today, even though it's a lot harder to overtake compared to Brands Hatch as well. And obviously Brands Hatch was in England, and we are in America, where it is known for NASCAR and lots of other beautiful series as well, which I need to actually start watching a bit more, because I'm loving these spec series as well, and when we go into these type of tracks, so maybe I should watch more of those. So we're riding on board with Juice Simpkins at the moment in Spec 1, not doing very well in Spec 1 at the moment, down in 20, actually no, he's not Spec 1, he's at the 377, so he's Spec 2, so yeah, excuse me that I got the colours wrong. It's taking a while to get used to these numbers at this moment in time. It may just be the wrong colouring, but looks like Frichter got past the Selly again, so they were having a battle just a little bit up front. And we're going to have a replay coming up. Let's see what the replay is. That was from Jeff Frichter, so we'll see what happened. He passed the Selly then, heading into the first part of the circuit. And Azali actually went off track, and I was wondering who went off, because everyone else was battling very nicely, and I saw someone taking a different line. So we'll see from the Selly's point of view what happened. So, yeah, so we need to go into the runoff area, into the grass. It's like mowing the lawn, as it were. So what a shame there, and I think he's dropped down into only 4th position, but he's got Bobby West closing in for about 2 seconds, so the train's just going to grow bigger and better at the moment. Ian Malone down in 16th position, and he's currently sitting, I believe, in 2nd place overall in Spec 2, whereas Simon Mayer is still leading Spec 1. So Malone needs to get past a lot more cars if he wants to catch to Simon, which is easier said than done. If I was any of these drivers, when would I think about pitting? As speaking of pitting, Stevie Gray's in the pits right now.
Stevie always one of the first ones to pit. As soon as that pit window opens right about that 10-minute mark, he's always that first to win in, wants to get in, get out. And frankly, this is the kind of day where you're going to see a lot of those undercuts. You're going to see everybody saying, you know what, I don't want to be in this train anymore. So if you're David Bohm, if you're in Wan Shilin, and you're in that train from west on down, you might think about pitting now, getting into a bit of an off sequence and try to make up time as running the track by yourself. But if you're out in front, if you're Nam, if you're one of these guys who doesn't have any contention, you might just find yourself pitting right up at the end, right at that 30-31 minute mark, just as there's fumes left in the tank, and finish the race that way. So it kind of depends on the strategy. And some tracks, it matters. If you're at Spa, you want to stay with a pack, you want to use that track. This track, not so much. You're going to worry about traffic, and so if you're behind the traffic, you just want to get out of it, get in the pits, get your fuel tank filled up, and head back on out. And but if you're leading the pack out of the way and traffic's clear, just sit out there and turn laps, mistake free, hopefully, and get yourself going. Other thing to think about an early pit stop is here in the Weekend Warriors, they do get one free repair. If you come in early for your pit stop, and then later you take some damage in traffic, you might just use that free repair in the wrong time. So there's something to be said about maybe hanging on to that fuel load, hanging on to that pit stop, maybe just in case you get a little bit of damage from somebody, you get that free repair in later in the race.
I think now front people would be doing, especially Aeronom. I think we saw that last week where a few of the front guys waited until the very last moment to pit, and it definitely changed the strategy here at the moment. I'd just like to say a massive shout out to Andreas Bertoni, who's currently sitting in 11th position right now. He's gained a massive 20 positions off his starting line, so he must have had a crazy, insane start right now. He's doing a fantastic job now chasing the Spec 2 class leader of Simon Mayer as well. So, yeah,
Andres
we do
always
pick
loves
out
that,
some,
yeah.
some
He loves
gaining
starting from the
positions.
back.
Yep, he did start from the back, so wow, I was not expecting that. So, yeah, sometimes when you start at the back of these sort of racetracks, then usually it's to your advantage because you avoid the carnage, but there's some tracks where you can't overtake, where really you don't really want to be starting at the back. So, yes, great race from him so far, and let's hope he can keep up from that, as I believe we have Rolly Warbank in the pits as well. Just looking at Stevie Ray's pit stop, 41.6. We're looking at that sort of benchmark for the other drivers, and I know Stevie Ray did not get damaged. So we're watching the battle for 5th place. They're going side by side then. The number 42 versus the number 122. I think Michael Tebec has the upper hand here. Goes to the left-hand side. Beautiful move there. Someone has spun off. We'll find out who it is from the replays in a minute, but Michael Tebec is almost closing in on to Bobby West right now. We also got Lynn not that far behind as well. The train is just growing and growing, and you can see Direct taking a beautiful line as well. Let's see if he can challenge the likes of West as well. We'll have to find out sooner or later, but I have to say this battle can keep going for hours and hours. I can watch this all day and I won't be tired of it. This is insane to watch. Oh, we almost had a bit of a slide there. That was very close there from David Bohm as he's chasing down Michael Tibet there. But he's an experienced racer, of course, wanting to fight for the championship. But there's a massive gap in the championship, and he wants to gain as many positions as he can. And Michael Tibet, like we said, has missed a few races, and he wants to do exactly the same and wants to keep up his good form. So, and you can see the train increasing and increasing and increasing. We've also got Simon Mayer, our Spec 2 class leader, also in the pits. Not what I would expect it for the Spec 2 class leader to pit early, but at least he gets his pit stop out of the way. A good pit stop from him, 39.08 seconds.
Yeah, that's the key around this place. It's not the longest pit road, but you definitely want to be efficient in that stop. You want to get in, you want to make sure you take only the right amount of fuel, and trust me, we've seen a lot of drivers run out of fuel late in these races to get that right. So you want to nail that, hit your pit box. Oh, it really stinks when you miss your pit box. I've done that in this series, and it is just a killer. You're just having to back up, or worst case, go around again. So definitely being efficient in the pits is critical. I think for Simon, maybe he's just thinking, again, clean track he's looking for. Maybe coming to the pits, he can find some of that clean track. What we don't have clean track is these guys, this battle going on still with West and Dobek. These guys have just been doing this now for 14 laps. As Dobek looks like he's got a little bit of damage on that left rear, maybe some contact earlier, probably some of the battles with Bohm or something, but he looks like he's not really much worse for the wear, as the car seems to be just plenty quick around this place right now. He's trying to get up onto Bobby West, try to get around him, get into that top 5. He's still a couple seconds back from Naselli. So these guys, I don't know how much battling they want to do. They may just want to kind of help each other and push each other along. These cars bump draft really well if you can get there. But I don't know if this is the track for that. If you can and work together, maybe they can catch up to Naselli just a couple seconds up the road and maybe make gains up into that top 4. It's going to be interesting to see if Dobek's the aggressor here or if he lays back. Because I know who is the aggressor. I mentioned it before is David Bohm. He's well known in the series, a very aggressive driver, but he's fallen back a second or so from these guys. So I think this battle of West and Dobek may be sort of a friendly battle, see if they can gain any time up on Naselli in front of him.
I wonder if David Bohm is saving his energy for just before they go into the pits as well to make sure he's got some clear head sets and good lap time potentially as well. But I'm looking at Michael Debec's last lap times and he was pretty much matching the pace of those around him. So I'm guessing the damage he may have got is not too bad. So to be honest, he's still fighting with the big guns and still could gain quite a few positions as well. But we know David Bohm as a fire, like we said, so watch out for this as well. And we also got some fights between Kern and Bately as well for Masters. We also got Edgar Sancelli down in 18th position. I believe that's Spec 2. Yes, it is a Spec 2 driver actually fighting it out for overall position. That we've also got Simpkins as well in this fight, who is leading this train. And someone almost went off there. I think we're riding on board with Christmas Smith down in 19th position. So he's lost a bit of ground, but he's starting to fight back as he chases down Paul Jackson as well. So great to see these two fighting for all their worth right now. And again, they are matching similar lap times. Christopher Smith 106.8, and Paul Jackson a bit slower that lap, so he must have gone off earlier on. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Ian Malone has got past Sergio Girelli as well, so he's up to 13th place overall and second place in the class. So not that far from his rivals as well. Chris Murakami, I believe, is not here this week, so it'll give a chance for somebody else to lead the Masters, which is Tom Gradwell right now. Even though he's got the Spec 2 leader behind him, he's not under huge pressure because the nearest rivals for the Masters is down in 20th spot. So plenty of room to breathe and plenty of chances for him to have some nice battles with the other guys from the other class as well. And even though they're over 60, the Masters, they still have it. They're still into racing, and it just goes to show you can race from any age. Age is definitely no barrier, no matter how young or old you are. So, and
some of those 60-year-old guys, you know, they're retired now. They've got time on their hands. They can sit in their sim rig all day long. So don't underestimate some of these guys in the amount of practice that they can get and come out here and compete. Like you mentioned, guys like Murakami's been doing it for a while. But you know, I've raced against guys like Gladwell and Batley and these guys. They are not slow by any means. So you definitely got to keep your eyes on them. If you're in the Spec 1 or Spec 2, if you come up on them for a pass, they're probably going to let you by if it's for a blue flag. They're not going to let you by if it's for position. These guys are definitely some tough racers out there.
Yeah, they are as well. And hardly people in the front are making any mistakes right now, which is great to see. We've got another driver in the pits. That is Dan Thornton in the 774. That is Spec 2 right now. So we'll keep an eye on the other pit stops to see the comparisons.
I think Dobak is coming in now as well.
Dobak's coming in as well. So we're starting to see, I would say, the chain reactions then. While everybody else in Spec 1 responds to that, we've only one way to find out. So he's going to his pit box right now. And nicely does it as well. No need to move forward or backwards. So sometimes I make that mistake around these type of roval tracks. So luckily Michael Dobak has not done that as well. Quite more people are heading into the pits very, very soon as well. And Michael Dobak, very good pit stop in the 39, which is what you're expecting. Same with not Jeff Jacobson, Simon May and Brian Short as well. Brian Short also from Spec 1, also pitted as well. So we're seeing who's made their pit stops and who hasn't. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers made it. Some of them for damage though. And they probably used their fast repairs already, so some of them though may have not chosen to use their fast repairs yet, even though they have got damage, so they're probably saving it to the last minute like we said. But look at this huge battle for 15th place. We've got Edgar Sanchielli, Christopher Smith, and we've also got Stu Simpkins leading the way. The Dutchman versus the American versus the Brit, so let's see who's going to come out on top as well. All from, I believe, different actually all from Spec 2, I believe. Yes, they're all from Spec 2, so that is a great sight to behold with these numbers at the moment. But let's see how they fare. We're looking at Smith's lap times compared to Edgar Sanchielli, and he's a lot quicker, and someone's gone off. That is Edgar Sanchielli. We were just talking about his lap times compared to Smith, but he just lost it somewhere. Hopefully we'll get a replay. Meanwhile, Ian Haycox must have responded to Michael Dobak, and he's gone into the pits as well.
Yeah, probably a good time to get in and try not to lose too much ground and try to match that pit stop strategy there. But yeah, some really great battles that, as you mentioned there in the Spec 2 with that group of Sergio Girelli and a few others in there, Joe Simpkins. But I'm really kind of keeping an eye on Andres Bertoni. We mentioned how he started from the back of the pack, working his way through this field. And you look at him now up into about the top 8. And he was moving up. You can see the gap now. He's not too far behind Wan Shilin. And so I think a guy like Bertoni really he's a really good place right now to finish up into the top 10. Could even get himself a top 5 with the way this race is going. We still got a whole 15, 16 minutes left of this. He does have to make a stop. But look at the pace he's just putting down. That car just looks as clean as it was at the green flag. It's amazing that he's able to make up this much ground in a race like this, where there's just so many places to make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't make these mistakes in a roadball track, then really you are something special, to be honest. So Andreas will keep an eye on him for the rest of the race as well. See what he does in his pit stop as well. And we're going to keep an eye on the Spec 1 class's pit stops as well, because to see how it matches with DeBeck as well, who pitted earlier on. So currently sitting in 18th overall, but don't forget a few people to make their pit stop. Look at David Bohm, and I believe that is Bobby West as well, having a fight too. And there's also different class cars as well with Lynn. So this could be getting intense as the battles go on. And I think a few cars are lapped. I believe Jacobson is lapped. So that's probably what the traffic is as well. And these drivers probably weren't expecting to come across traffic right now. And it's how they deal with it in this track. There's plenty of spaces to move out the way, luckily, as well. But the slowest car does keep the line, so it's up to the faster car to find their way around, which they do at the moment. So David Bohm gets past them, and it stays in 5th position. He's got a big gap to P4 from Maurizio Nazelli right now. So P4's out of reach at the moment, but I'm sure he could try and make sure that he can probably increase the gap to the likes of Bobby West, who was almost going side by side there. Was quite good as a number 43 car has gone off his jet fixture again. Similar position that we saw earlier as well. So what is that? But he must be struggling out there with the grip, and I believe it'll make sense for him to go into the pit stops as well, to have fresh in his mind and focus on the rest of the race. That's what I would do. Let's look at a replay of Jeff then to see what happened a little bit more. So we're riding on board with him right now, heading towards the road part of the track after the over, and again just misses braking point and heading into the grass section as well. So what a shame there. And I believe he stayed in 4th though, but I'm sure David Bohm will see this as an open invitation to try and catch up. The gap is 6 seconds though between the two of them, so we will see. But Jeff can't afford to make a mistake like that, because the gap will close even more as our race leader, I believe, is going into the pits.
Yep, but Aeronom pretty methodical here. He's going to run it down until he sees too much traffic, and then it's going to be time to pit. So that's what he's going to be doing now. We'll see where he comes out relative to Dobek, who's probably the highest of the other ones that have pit so far. That'll give us a gauge on those two relative. And then we'll wait and see how long before Forenz and Maurizio Naselli each make their stops. I'm really curious about how long they decide to stay out there, knowing that our race leader is now finally taking his stop.
Yeah, I'm sure Arabian would want to stop ASAP really, or maybe he wants to have a clear gap in front of them as well, but he knows that Maurizio Naselli is catching, so you never know. But let's watch Michael DeBeck actually. He's a good benchmark, I would say, to Aeronom, even though Aeronom had a comfortable gap between him and Michael DeBeck. But he's battling with the likes of Juice Simpkins as well. So Aeronom comes out of the pits, and he's well clear. He's well clear of Michael DeBeck. So yeah, because of that gap he had in front, that really helped him maintain his lead. Technically, Aeronom could have pitted whenever for some of these guys, and he could have been fine, but he's still got Maurizio Naselli to worry about. So yes, and Forenz Arabian is in the pits too. So pit stops are starting to happen here in the Phoenix Raceway today, and it's all triggered by our race leader and Michael DeBeck because of it as well. So don't be surprised to see everybody else maybe pitting as well, but I'm not surprised to see the front two at the moment staying out. Maybe David Bond will have a think about it soon as well. And it is chance as well for people to make moves before they go and make their pit stops.
And Bone, we know, has got a little bit of damage on board, so it would be probably a good time for him to come in. You see some other various damages around there that people like Sergio Dorelli, who's I think had some damage probably from lap 1 that he still hasn't gone in for. He probably want to get in and get that free car here pretty soon. But we'll keep our eyes on the Fritcher and Naselli to see when they decide to make their stops. They probably won't be waiting a whole lot longer. Depends all on that traffic, because those are the guys I think that'll be battling for that second spot. It's assuming that Aeronom's had a good clean stop, and it looks like he has. I think it'll be a battle for second between Naselli, Fritcher, and then we'll see who else can join them up there.
Yeah, we shall see, of course. We've got more people in the pits, and we've got Edgar Sancelli in the pits as well, just about to come out very, very soon as well. So we'll see. So we're watching Forenz Arabian now, and he's a roundabout thing, I would say, almost 10 seconds behind Aeronoms. So I think Aeronoms undercut definitely paid off there, because I think the gap was around about 3-4 seconds and the gap increased. Or maybe Aeronom with the clearer air has probably helped him a little bit, and he's been able to set consistent lap times. 105.6 was his last lap. He's been in the 105 straight 104s for most of this race. This is the man you got to beat if you are in Spec 1, I have to say. So let's see if he can keep it up as well, because there is a Spec 1 driver ahead of him, but he knows he doesn't have to pit. But he knows he needs to pit soon, so he can concentrate on his own race and not get caught up by traffic. Because if you get caught up by traffic, that will allow Arabian to possibly start catching up as well. And I think that's what Aeronom's worried about as well. We've got Bobby West in the pits as well. Fair dues for him going into the pits. And for Spec 2, we've also got Darren Kern from Canada also in the pits as well. That still leaves around about a fair few still to make their stops. And with 10 minutes to go almost, there's a few people leaving it a little bit late.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if they were able to save a little bit of fuel and to try and to really fuel saving around this place is very tough to do, just because you're just wide open throttle quite a bit of this track, and there's no places to sort of to coast into your braking zones. A lot of places you're going to be that much different, but usually we can go close to about 30 minutes here as we got a big slide there. I want to say that might have been Bradshaw, but I'm not sure. There is as the Aeronom car kind of tucked underneath, was able to continue going and avoid any sort of issues. And that's sort of the biggest thing for Nam right now. He just wants to avoid anything, right? Avoid the drama, just kind of get through traffic as he can. I think that might have been Jeff Jacobson letting him by there. And so he just wants to just turn laps and just kind of maximize being the 105s. But these lap times to be in the 105s, you know, you look at the public races this week, and yeah, maybe you could turn some 105s, look at the track temps, those public races, compared to today. I think we're at 136 degrees Fahrenheit today, track temp, here in Phoenix, Arizona. This place is just baking hot. 88-degree air temp doesn't tell the story. 136 track temp. It's like driving on grease out there. It's amazing that these guys are turning low 105s, or even a couple of 104s have been turned in this race, given the heat out there. It's just pretty amazing what they're doing.
And the amount of practice that these drivers put into their league races in SRF Weekend Warriors astounds me. It's just incredible as well. And the weather, don't forget, is set to as close to real world as possible. So the track and air temperatures that you're seeing right now is what Phoenix is suffering right now with these temperatures in the summer, because we are in August. We just started August a week ago. So, you know, it is hot over there as well. And for those of you that are in America that is in these hot temperatures, I hope you're doing well, but you don't keep heat as much. I think you're coping a lot better than what we do in the UK, where our houses, when it's around about a similar temperature in degrees Celsius, we just get humid as anything. So the Americans cope a little bit better. Anyway, we got Flavio Andalaro. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. The 415 car is in the pit as well. So he comes in doing very well for Spec 2 right now. I was going to say who's leading from each class, but it is hard to tell with not everybody making their pit stops. We've got Tom Gradwell in the pit as well from the lead of Masters. And that could be very intense, to say the least, to see when the other... I think most of the Masters have probably made their stops already, but Tom Gradwell's got a comfortable gap out in front, so it probably doesn't matter when he stops as well. So who will blink out of Maurizio Nazelli and Jeff Fritcher? That's going to be the key thing. And despite that spin, Jeff is doing a very good job to try and close into Maurizio. So and he's in the pits now.
They're in the pits now, yes. So they're both coming in at the same time. We'll see if either one of them can be quicker than the other through this pit lane. Obviously, Maurizio a couple seconds ahead of him as they both came in then. And then we'll see how close to Nam are they. I think Nam might be struggling a little bit to get through some of this traffic. I just look at the gap between he and Ferenz. It's under 8 seconds. So I think Ferenz has picked up a little bit of time. So I wonder if that's lost a little bit of pace from Nam. Let's see here, this battle for Fritcher and Naselli coming out. There's Naselli. He's gone already.
There we go. Closer than I would have thought. But Aeronom is leading the way. And I'm almost certain Aeronom's going to be leading the way on track once everyone else has made their stops, because the pit lane lost times around about 39 seconds and the gap is less than that. So Aeronom doing a great job out there, and Jeff Fritcher has got Arabian and Naselli in front of them. So not what Jeff wants at all, but very, very good if you're like friends Arabian or Maurizio Naselli. So I'm just looking at the pit stop. Even though Ferenz had a slower pit stop, it looks like, I don't know what happened to Jeff, but I think Jeff might be struggling out there. Maurizio had the good pit stop as well. Quite an average 1:39.27. And Aaron Nom looking at that 39.38 when he went in a few laps ago. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers still to make their stop. And we've got Miro Haraski into the pits as well. So that just leaves, I believe, Jeff Jacobson, David Bum, and Yuangzi Lin, who are yet to make their stops. As we saw someone else come out, I believe. That is Haraski that comes out, and we'll see what David Bum does as well, because the gap is closing in. He's probably struggling a little bit, but Lin is very, very good on his pace right now. A second quicker, I would say, than David. So
Yeah.
I wonder
if
if
you remember when this all started, when all these pit stops started, it was Michael Doback that sort of broke the ground here and said he's going to go in early ahead of, and Bohm's coming in. Lin's now going to resume the lead. But remember, Bohm and Doback had a great battle early on. They were able to get their way around Bobby West. And so those guys are still somewhat together there between Doback and West. So I wonder where's Bohm going to come out? Is he going to come out between them, or is he going to maybe make some ground up and come out with Doback? We'll see that in a second here.
Yeah, not that long to go until the end of the race. So plenty of time to make some ground. And if I was Lin, I would pit right now, because they were a lot similar on pace as well. But we'll find out as those two were battling head to toe right now. We could go side by side towards the end there as well. So we'll see. Watching Bobby West right now, who's currently 8th overall, doing a fantastic job. And Bomb comes out, and he is about 4 seconds behind Jeff Richter as well. So the similar place to where he was before.
He comes out, though. He comes out ahead of Doback and West. So I think that's really good work there for Bohm. And Doback, maybe the early pit stop did not pay off, as he's going to be a couple seconds down from Doback. He's going to have to really work here in these last couple of laps to try to make up any ground. But really good work there for Bohm to stay out, wait till the end. Maybe he's got a good, efficient pit stop. Maybe his lap times were just cooking fast here in this Phoenix heat to get himself up into that 6-5.
Lin's in, I think. Oh, no, I thought he was, but he is not. He's leaving a bit late. I think he's the only driver to not make a pit stop yet.
That's a pretty efficient use of fuel to go 34.5 minutes without taking a fuel stop in one of these fuel tank limited Spec Racer Fords. That's very impressive for Wenshi Lin to be able to do that. And we'll see. That does pay off with a shorter pit stop. He's only got to go another 5 minutes of fuel, so he doesn't need a whole lot of fuel. Just got to get in there. He should have himself a good shot at a top 10 here if he can get in and get out of there.
Let's hope he remembers that he needs to pit, and let's hope he remembers that he calculated his fuel correctly, because I hate commentating on a race where someone that's doing so well runs out of fuel. That is heartbreaking. So please, Lin, pit for goodness sake. Anyway, we're seeing a battle between Girelli and the Gradwell for 15th overall, and this just for pride, because it is different spec class. We've got Spec 1 versus Masters here at the moment. We've got our Masters class leader battling with one of the Spec 1 drivers, I have to say. So Gradwell still having it in him right now, which is great to see. And just a quick, I'm just going to try and see who's in second place in the Masters at the moment. I believe that's Ken Batley, currently sitting in 22nd. So doing a good job out there. We got Kern as well, Stevie Ray as well, bringing up the rear. Not everyone is here tonight though, because there's a few people on their summer holidays. So hopefully everyone's having a nice break if they're not racing tonight. Who knows, they may be watching the stream back. We'll see to find out the competitors.
Oh yeah, as a competitor in this league, if you got to take a week off for some reason, you always make sure you tune into the stream, because you want to see how everybody else does. As part of that excitement, you're in the middle of all this these battles season long. We're here at about the 2/3 of the way through the season, and if you skip a race, you're like, I gotta see how did Doback do, having skipped his own races early? How did some of these other battles? Maybe you're in the Masters class, maybe like Chris Murkoff probably watching right now, watching Wenshi Lin come in for his pit stop here on lap 33. Amazing fuel saving there for Wenshi Lin to see what his stop does. He's only got to go another 3.5 minutes to make it to the end. This is going to be a really quick stop.
Yep, we'll see as well. If he pulls a Red Bull record for pit stops, I know you can't do that in iRacing, but if he pulls one of the fastest pit stops, it's beyond me.
That was quick, I can tell you that, though. Just seeing him moving already. You don't need much fuel. If he's made it this far, I mean, really, we're turning the lap times at 1:05. There's 3 laps to go in this race. That's all he needs. So, yeah, he's back out there already. And look at that, right behind Dobek going into turn 1.
36.13 seconds. The quickest pit stop before was around the 38 seconds. So he's had the quickest pit stop out of everybody by 2 seconds today. Lynn means business. He's currently sitting in 7th. He's gained 4 positions this race. One of my drivers of the day, he was able to save fuel efficiently as well, and it's great to see right now. And he's matching the likes of Michael Debeck and David Baum as well. So it'll be interesting to see what the gap is. And with less fuel and him going into the pits now as well, he's going to be megally quick compared to his rivals, and he's right on the back, I believe, of Michael Debeck. My oh my, we're going to be in for a grandstand finish between these two. Fasten your seatbelts, grab your popcorn, because these are two titans fighting for it. And you've got a hungry Lynn chasing the German of Michael Debeck, and they're still going to go side by side. Michael Debeck holds on to the right hand side, and we've got Lynn, who wants to get the position from him into the battle. And there's a bit of a spin from Michael Debeck, but I think Lynn has it as well.
Just a little bit of contact, I think, there. Maybe even kind of a neck code sort of contact. Didn't look like much, but he did just sort of take a sidestep there for Debeck, unfortunately.
It looked like neck code, unfortunately, which does happen in iRacing, and shouldn't really happen, but unfortunately it does. Sometimes you can't see if a driver's there. And it would come on. It was a little bit of a tap, and it just sends people into a spin. That is just cruel, I have to say. Usually with just a little tap like that, usually it's just banging wheels. But on iRacing, sometimes it's just enough to send into a spin, which is a shame, because Debeck was running so well and so beautifully in this race. So hopefully he can bounce back from it, because he's still winning a few seconds of Lynn. So it's not over yet. So we're not long until the end of the race. We'll see the white flag very, very soon, as Aranom leads Naselli by 4.4 seconds. But look at the battle between Ferenz Arabian as well and Naselli.
Absolutely, Ferenz Arabian wants a piece of this. And there's traffic in front of them here with a lap and a half to go. It's going to be a lot. And there's contact there.
Oh, someone's gone for a spin.
That's Edgar Sentinelli taking that. And that looks like Ferenz Arabian actually also taking the spin. So that's going to break that battle up, and Foran's going to drop back a little bit. I think he's going to still hang on to that 3rd spot for right now. But boy, that's going to hurt his chances there, as he was really trying to take that spot from Naselli as they were weaving through that traffic.
Yeah, as well. I think people are taking a lot more risk now, knowing there's not that long to go until the end of the race. So, yeah, we will see. So the checkered flag has dropped. So it will be Aranom that will be taking the win here at Phoenix for round number 8 of SRF Weekend Warrior. It's a place to be on a Sunday night, I have to say. And we've got Maurizio Naselli in his 2nd position. Ferenz Arabian, after a difficult race last week, is back on true form in 3rd position in Spec 1. David Baum comes across the line in 4th. And we've got Yuranji Lin, who did a great fuel stop and is going to come across the line in 5th, gained 6 positions. Debeck in 6th, and Andres Bertoni, don't forget, started dead last and is in 7th position, up 24 places.
Yeah, there's my driver of the day right there. Yeah, you come up those kind of spaces in this field, that's an impressive run. But also impressive, Simon Mayer taking that Spec 2 win just ahead of Ian Malone. And, of course, Tom Gradwell taking that win in the Masters class. So great runs for those guys to keep it clean. But that Mayer battle with Malone, so close there, just a second or so between them at the end, with Mayer hanging on to it to take that Spec 2 win. So great driving from a lot of these drivers today. It's a tough track to be clean around.
Yeah, it is, and quite tough for you to keep all wheels on the track as well without going into the runoff area. So well done to all these drivers, and there's just no stopping Aranom. He's the class of the field at the moment in Spec 1, and to be honest, if he does not take the Spec 1 championship this season, then I'll be very, very surprised. He's going to have probably some tough races if he was to fall down. So these drivers have got to watch out right now. So we'll give a rundown as soon as I think everyone has crossed the line. Yeah, it will be results. So Aeronom wins for Maurizio Nazelli for Spec 1, Ferenz Arabian in 3rd, David Baum in 4th, Lynn in 5th, Michael Dubek in 6th, and Andreas Bertoni in 7th, and Bobby West in 8th position, all Spec 1 drivers. And in Spec 2, it is Flavio Andolo actually that's won with the 415, with Simon Mayer in 10th position. Flavio did not get the stuff in the spreadsheet in time, so but he is the winner of Spec 2. With Simon Mayer in 2nd, Ian Malone in 3rd. And we got then Sergio Durali 12th overall, Jonathan Mino 13th overall. Tom Gradwell is your Masters winner in 14th, in 1st in Masters. 15th is Brian D. Short, 16th is Christmas Smith, 17th is Miro Haraski, the last person on the lead lap. Everyone else a lap down, which is Jeff Richter in 18th position. And then we got Juice Simpkins in 19th, Edgar in 20th. Paul Jackson, 21st, Darren Kung, 22nd, Ken Batley, 23rd, Stevie Ray, 24th, Bob Kern, 25th, Jeff Jacobson, 26th, Adam Bradshaw, 27th, Ian Haycox, 8 laps down, as well as Rolly Rawbank and Pete Morbottom did not have the best of races at all. Morbottom did not make the checker flag, unfortunately. But I might as well hand it over to you to see if we have some interviews from our class winners. Aeronoms in. There's a few streams going on at the same time, so we've got to make sure we get the right people in.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, because we don't want to grab people from the other stream. I believe it's RGP Fun that's going on at exactly the same time as us, as well as the other one. So let's get Aeronom into the commentary booth, and I'll pass it over to Larry.
All right, Aeronom, congrats on the win today. This is a tough track, 136-degree track temp. What's it like driving in that kind of conditions and trying to keep this car straight on this track?
Yeah, it's so stressful. You have to be very careful with braking and turning, and it's sliding everywhere.
Yeah, and you're doing that when you're trying to make your way through the traffic. You were one of the later pit stops to finally come in, but still you come out from the stop and you've got to work through some of that traffic. Are you really worried about the other drivers ruining your race and taking you out, or is there a lot of trust between even some of the back markers?
Yeah, before the pit stop I lost few laps. There was 2 second loss, 1 second loss, so I decided, actually I was a little bit early pit stop than the top 6, but yeah, I was checking the gap and I saw there is a gap between, I don't know what places, but I knew where I come out, so yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough race. There's not a lot of room around this place. Not one of our biggest fields ever, but plenty big on such a small little oval. But Aero, again, with another win here this season, and you're put yourself in a good position with about 4 rounds to go. Are you looking forward to our next round and getting back to the big field?
Yeah, I don't know what's next. We'll see next week, but I think today was pretty easy win compared to others, but traffic was terrible, so yeah.
Yep, traffic's always tough, but you managed it well and you came away with another victory, so congrats, Aero. Anybody you want to thank for your win today?
I want to thank all the drivers, what makes the league, so, and I'd like to thank the admins and you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Aero, and congrats, and looking forward to seeing you in the next round.
Yeah, see ya.
So we'll check to see if there's anybody else waiting. I believe we have our Spec 2 winner waiting. I believe that's Flavio Andalo. So we may as well get him in, and I will take him now as well. Let's get him in. So Flavio, congratulations on the Spec 2 victory. And tell us, how must it feel out there with these hotter climates in Phoenix? Was it an easy track for you, or did you find it hard out there?
Hey, yeah, it was a bit hard. The car was leaking a bit, and I got a bit lucky there. And the guys that I was fighting with, like Simon and Miro, they had some problem. And then I went just to safe mode and just follow the guys in front, keeping the distance. So it wasn't that hard in the end. I was braking early in the first corner, just making sure that it goes well.
Yeah, and you seem to be doing very well there as well. So I'm just looking at your finishing position. You gained 5 places in this race, and the race was definitely not easy as well. So was there any obstacles when you saw people moving their way down the field, make a mistake? Did you realize that this could be your chance?
Yeah, there was one moment that a guy just spun in front of me, but the guys in this community are just great, and everybody's try to help each other. So there's a time I was behind Kenneth, and I told him, "You can stay, don't worry, just keep the pace," and he just let me by. And later he spun again, so maybe I was really lucky there that he let me by, so he could spun in front of me. And it was just that only one issue that I had. So the rest, it was I was really nervous, but when I saw that I was keeping the distance from Miro and Simon, and yeah, I noticed that it could be my first win here. I'm really happy for that.
I love people having first wins in a series. It just makes my heart warm so much as well. So I don't think it's going to be the last win we see from you as well. As next week we head to one of my favourite tracks of mine. I'm gutted that I'm not going to be covering it, but it is Watkins Glen. Is that a track that you need to practice a bit more on, or are you more comfortable on taking the race victory once again?
I don't expect that much. I'm more a guy that I like a clean race and safe driving, so I'm not usually the one that get the win. I think I got really some lucky today that the guys spun, and some of the other guys didn't show up, like Thomas. Thomas is a great guy also. And Watkins Glen, I have a little experience there, but I think I need some practice for sure. It's not one of my fastest track, so I'm not expecting another win like that. But let's see how it goes.
And before we go, any shout outs you want to give for your win today on stream?
I'd like to thank all the guys from the Weekend Warriors. The Spec Race 40 community is really great place, great guys to race. And thanks to my family as well. And I have the guys from my team that we work together, also great guys. So I'd like to thank all of them.
Brilliant. Congratulations on the win. I'll let you go and celebrate this evening, and hopefully you'll have a good result out in Watkins Glen. Well done. Our Spec 2 race winner, Flavio Andalo. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
Right then, so that, I believe, wraps up the stream because we don't have our Masters winner in the waiting area. So I feel that was pretty good. Not many overtakes that we would expect it, but that is the nature of the hotter track temperatures, unfortunately. But this definitely helps the drivers and the viewers at home realise on who is out there to win the championships and who really needs to pick up the pace of it, I think.
Yeah, it's still an exciting race. It's such a challenge with these cars and a track like this to come out here and try and race. But we did see some pretty good battles there. You know, that battle for 4, 5, 6, and 7 with Bohm, Dobek, and Lynn was pretty memorable there. And Aeronaut just putting on a clinic out here is just, you really don't appreciate that until you try to drive this car and realize how hard it is to do it lap after lap for 36 laps. And he did a fantastic job, deserves the win. And as always, looking forward to the next round. I think Watkins Glen is always one of my favorites. So I think it's going to be a great race there and looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think everyone will be looking forward to it as well. So before, we'll have a massive shout out to our sponsors. Don't forget RaceVoice, the exclusive sponsor of the Weekend Warriors Spec Racer Ford Racing Series, which will take your driving to the next level with on-track audible performance alerts with RaceVoice and RaceVoiceSIM. Go faster with the speed of voice, and you can get 50% off if you race with Weekend Warriors and its annual sim prize and use the promo code of WW50. Also, thank you to our other sponsors, Virtual Racing School, SDK Gaming, that provide our live time. You can also broadcast your league and series with SDK Gaming as well. 14-day free trial if you want to have a go for free. But if you want to use it after that, you can pay a monthly subscription. Highly recommend it. It's very good. You can also use it for your own races as well. That has live HUDs too. And also thanks to our other sponsor, Apex Racing Academy. So we'll be at Watkins Glen next week. Hopefully we'll have the usual commentary team next week with Jim Hodson and Jack Canan taking you through the action. It's been a pleasure me covering these last 3 weeks. I really enjoyed it. And thank you, Larry, for joining us this week covering for Jim Hodson, it's a very a privilege for you to join me in the commentary box this week.
Yeah, it was a great privilege. I love this series. It's great working with you, and I'm sure we'll see you again in some other series.
Yeah, thank you very much. And for myself, Jess Ball, Larry McLeod in the commentary box, and Jonathan Grabowski on the cameras. We'll see you next week for some more SRF Weekend Warriors presented by Race Voice at Watkins Glen. Have a good rest of your day, everybody, and goodbye.